So 9 miles here and 20 miles here. And in this area, 20 million people live under the ruthless regime of a terrorist organization we all know as Hamas. What we have been doing from the air over the last hours and actually an entire day is striking Hamas targets with great power and severity. We have been striking all of the different targets, the military targets belonging to Hamas. Now, you may have seen footage on TV or on social media, and you may see a building standing and then flashes and then the building collapses. And you say to yourself, well, that looks very much like a civilian building. What I want to tell you is that no, that isn't a civilian building. It is a legitimate military target. And why is that? Because Hamas locates all of their offices, headquarters, their research and development, and all of their other military assets, if it's above ground, they locate themselves in civilian buildings. And Hamas, being the cowards that they are, they never put signs on their buildings saying, "Welcome to the Hamas headquarters for planning terrorist activity in Israel," or "Welcome to the Research and Development Center for drones and projectiles." You will never see that because Hamas wants to disguise itself as civilians, and they use civilian buildings for military purposes, which makes it a legitimate military target. And those are the targets that we are striking with tremendous force over the last days, and those are the images that you're seeing coming out of Gaza. And we will continue to do that as time goes by and as we generate more and more intelligence about where Hamas are. I want to be totally clear. The IDF remains committed to the law of armed conflict, and we conduct ourselves according to it, despite the fact that we are furious, angry, frustrated, and appalled by the atrocities that Hamas has done against us. We still keep our morals, and we still make sure that we fight according to the laws that we are committed to. And that's how we will continue, despite the difficult situation. Now I want to zoom out and speak about the other fronts, because we haven't spoken about that on our previous updates, and I think it's important for all of you to be aware of what's going on. So there are two more active fronts that we are dealing with. One is the front with Lebanon. So I zoomed out from Gaza here in the south, and we traveled north along the beautiful country of Israel, and now I'm zooming in on the northern border. Rosh Hanikra in the west and the Mediterranean Sea, and then the border goes here all the way up to the Hermon mountain and the Syrian border on the other side. Lebanon being here, Israel being here, and these are the Golan Heights and the border with Syria. The Sea of Galilee, you can use that as a reference point. So in southern Lebanon, Hezbollah has already fired anti-tank missiles and rockets at our positions and soldiers, fortunately without any significant casualties, and there has already been an attempt of Islamic Jihad terrorists to infiltrate into Israel. That attempt was successfully thwarted by the IDF, sadly, at the cost of the life of a senior officer and 2 additional soldiers. But the attempt was stopped, and as of now, there are no attacks and no active combat events on the northern border. However, we remain very vigilant. We have deployed tens of thousands of additional units along the northern border, and I'm talking about infantry, special forces, armored forces, artillery, air force, and additional assets, of course, intelligence and logistics and everything that we need in order to keep those operations running. They are deployed along the northern border, and the message to Hezbollah is very clear that if they will try to attack, we are ready and we are vigilant along our border. Now, the third area of operations, or the third front that has opened and we find ourselves active in, again, by means of aggression from the other side. It is aggression from across our borders into Israel, from Gaza, from Lebanon, and now also from Syria. So back to the map. If we look at the area, then we spoke about the Lebanese border, Golan Heights, Syria on the east, and the Golan Heights here. attacks, rockets were fired from Syria into Israel. We do not yet know if these rockets were fired by the Syrian armed forces, by any of the many Iranian militias that exist and are welcomed by the Syrian regime, or Hezbollah or any other faction. What we do know is that we retaliated fire towards the sources of fire, and currently the situation there is quiet. And let's hope that it remains in that way. Now, we'll zoom out and we'll speak about something that we haven't spoken about at all. And that is something that is happening in the Mediterranean. In the Eastern Mediterranean, an American fighter carrier is making its way, a whole battle group, a US battle group is making its way in the Eastern Mediterranean towards the Israeli and Lebanese coast. And the message coming out of that US Central Command battle group to Iran and to Hezbollah, to the Syrian regime, is that this battle group is here to make sure that the war against Hamas doesn't escalate to a regional war between Israel and many other entities. And let's hope that that message of deterrence is heard loud and clear in Tehran, in Beirut, and in Damascus. So the situation, as you can understand, is extremely sensitive. We are fighting along three fronts of our homeland. We have sustained extremely heavy casualties. 1,200 Israelis have been killed, sadly, and more than 2,700 have been wounded. This, however, will not deter us, and it will not weaken our resolve. We are focused, organized. We enjoy the full support of the population and the state of Israel, and I'm happy to say that we are also seeing, witnessing, and enjoying the full support of all of the democratic and free countries around the world. The shows of support from all around the world are very clear. Capitals are lit in Israeli colors. Statements by Parliament and Congress and legislators from around the world saying clearly that we stand by Israel and we stand by Israel's right to defend itself. And that is excellent. And we hope that remains that way even when the fighting will intensify and the scenes coming out of the Gaza Strip will be more difficult to understand and cope with. I thank you very much for watching. If you find this content useful, retweet it and share it to your friends on various platforms, and make sure that people who care about Israel and want the truth stay informed and get the information from a good and trustworthy source. I wish you all the best, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.